Tuesday morning, the 28th of January 2020. Early in the morning, probably around 7:15, 7:30. The tide's out. The tide's out on the lake. For about 5 days now, 4 or 5 days, the tide's been out. It was out more farther than that for yesterday and the day before. It was really out. It's starting to fill back in. I don't know what they were doing. I know one thing. I walked around the lake about 10 days ago and there was dead fish everywhere. The little small fish that the birds dive after, that the fowl, like herons and what other birds out here that fish, there's a lot of them. Those little fish that those birds fed on were all dead, all along the shoreline. You couldn't walk 2 feet without seeing a dead fish. Some were up on the shore where the water receded. Others were in the water anywhere from the shore to 5 feet out. All these dead fish. Probably why I don't see a lot of birds lately flying in here. There's no fish left in the lake for them to go dive for. They're all dead. Those fish, there were thousands of them in there, and they fed the birds of prey. But anyway, here we are again. I sent about a bunch of videos out yesterday. No response because the tee boxes are right where they were yesterday. Alright, I'm on the hot seat. Alright, incoming. Here's what I have to deal with all day. Alright, see that tee box right there? That tee box, I'm going to be dealing with it all day because it all depends on the skill level of the golfer who's playing that tee. Period. If he's a good golfer, if he goes to the driving range, if he's a consistent swing, he knows the mechanics of the swing, he knows the mechanics of the grip, he knows the turn. He's a practiced golfer, he's been playing for years. He doesn't try to power the course. He's trying to protect his scorecard by playing the up tees. He could play the back tees. He's got enough skill if he wants to play the back tees and probably 95. If he played the black tees, he'd probably shoot a 95. Alright? He doesn't want to shoot a 95. All his friends can't play back there with him. So he moves up, he protects his score. He moves up to a reasonable tee box. He could even move up to the goal tee where he's got a 155-yard shot from the front of the long tee. But why? Why? Try to show off in front of his friends? His friends can't play that game, so he moves up. Alright? That kind of golfer, I don't worry about when he steps onto the tee. Alright? He's protecting his score. He wants to shoot near par. He doesn't want to upstage his friends. Okay, this is just a casual game. So he comes out and he plays these tees. That type of golfer, if 95% of the people that hit that tee box were that golfer with that type of mindset, that attitude, that experience, that wisdom, everything would be fine. But we don't have that kind of golfer hitting that tee box. 9 out of 10 golfers that hit that tee box, first of all, are right-handed. That's another thing about where I live. I probably wouldn't be worried about this as much if 95% of the golfer, 9 out of 10 golfers, were left-handed. If you're a left-handed golfer starting out, you miss left. If you're a right-handed golfer starting out, you miss right. So every golfer that goes off that tee box today, now at the other end of the what do you want to call the bell-shaped curve? Now, that gentleman I just described as one of the wings or the ends of the bell-shaped curve, right? Out of, say, say out of a deck of cards, you got 52 cards in a deck of cards. We'll say 52 golfers, that's our measurement. Every 52 golfers, but we don't throw out the jokers. The jokers have to be part of that deck. So every 54 golfers that go by, every 54 golfers that go by, I'm going to put this in the analogy of a deck of cards. 2 of them are jokers, wild cards. They make them wild cards. You don't know what's going to come out of them, all right? You don't know what kind of swing they're going to make. You don't know if they have any education as to the etiquette of golf, like respecting private property, or if they've been conditioned out here like a Pavlov's dog just to walk in anybody's yard. Whenever you misstrike a ball and it goes in somebody's yard, just go get it. The golf course isn't going to say anything. And if the guy calls the police, by the time he gets through that police bureaucracy of the policeman coming out, interviewing him, putting on camera, what, when, how, all this stuff, the golfer's done with his round and gone. And when the guy goes to the policeman, if he has the attitude to go to and question the clubhouse, they'll go, oh yeah, the guy got, we don't know who he is. Okay? So I'm constantly being trespassed on. Now that tee box right now is a chip shot. If there were field goals right there, that'd be your standard point after kick right there. That's your point after kick. If you could raise those 2 tee markers up like poles in the air, this is a chip shot from here to there. And when you put it now to the other end of the bell-shaped curve, now I just described to you a seasoned golfer, he's an amateur, but he's a dedicated amateur. He warms up every day, he exercises, he keeps his weight down. He loves golf, he loves coming out every day, the camaraderie, and he's trying to play, and he practices on the range, he practices at home, he reads about golf, he studies the swing. Like I said, that guy is in the one wing of the bell-shaped curve. On the other end is a gorilla. A gorilla not in a mean way, but in a gorilla as far as they don't have a clue how to hold the club. Nobody's ever showed them how to hold the club. Nobody ever sits there and says, turn the face a little more closed. Because nobody knows in the group that you're supposed to close your face. And because he's a man, he goes, where's the men's tees? They go, there's 2 men's tees. The silver for the old guys and the gold for the young. He goes, well, I'm a young, strong guy. I'll play the gold. Never played golf in his life. Now these are the silver tees right here. A lot of people play the silver tees. But whether they're playing the gold or the silver, that type of golfer is a nuisance to the community. If the community is valued for our appearance, I'm a storefront here. Anything I do to this lot, any golfer would influence with the HOA or the club or the town board can complain about my my yard and I get a letter. I'm on display. This is 5th Avenue. Since I have absolutely no privacy here, and golfers can walk right up to the plant line of my house, right up to my property and on my property, and they always do, they always have, and they always will, okay, until that tee box is moved to the other side of that little harbor. until you take me out of range. Either that or put up a barrier. Or move the tee boxes up. Change the handicap on the hole. Move the green to the left a little more, make it a lot smaller. To where they got to hit an island. If they don't hit an island, they can complain, well, you ruined the hole by making it so short. What's this, a 95-yard shot for the black on that hole? That's ridiculous. Oh yeah? It is? You're trying to hit a green the size of a 55-gallon drum head, alright? Now, shut up and play the hole. Alright? If you don't like it, don't come here anymore. Take me out of range. If you did that on every hole, and this is for Mr. Andy, alright? Fellow walking his dog. I got scolded one morning for doing just what this guy did. This was 2 years ago, the day before the 4th of July. That eve, that morning around the 4th of July, about 2 years ago, I was babysitting 2 dogs. And it was just like this, nobody out, no golfers have come by yet, but 2 ladies, uncharacteristic, okay, very uncharacteristic for that time in the morning, that time. But it was the holiday. They wanted to get a round in, I guess, early and get it done with, and then they could play. Well, anyway, I was out walking my dogs like that while they came up on the 6th hole, and it was around this time, just about sunup. They must have started before the sun came up. Well, I was over there on the 6th, 7th. I was walking the walk. I walked around the lake over to the other side of the lake, the 7th. And when they approached me in the golf cart to the ladies' tee, I was a couple feet down and I pulled my dogs back so they could hit, but they scolded me. These 2 ladies scolded me like they were on the board of the golf club. You're not supposed to be out here with dogs in the morning. Honest to God, verbatim. Just like that, sarcastic, overbearing, looking down, condescending. How dare you come out here in the morning when I want to come out and play golf? What? There isn't another person on the course. It'll probably be another hour before anybody tees off from the clubhouse. You're an anachronism. You're out of place and out of time to be coming out here at this hour in the morning, playing the 7th hole just as the sun's coming up. Alright, and scolding me for being here with my dogs. This is the shit I go through here. Alright? Now I'm going to zoom again and we're going to go through this little spiel over again about that. I should send this video to the PGA of America. You're so proud of your game or everything. Everybody's so proud of the game of golf, how charitable it is. How charitable is it for you not to have an out-of-bounds area on your property? The golf course property starts at that white stake. That's where golfers can walk to, and that's where they can play to. They can play right up to that white stake. They can walk right up to that white stake. Now, this is all your land. You're pushing me. This is encroachment. It's encroachment. Now, if I put a picnic table out there with a loud stereo and constantly every day, all day long, a shaded picnic table, and I do arts and crafts there with a stereo going, and people here having a good time partying, I'm going to get nothing but grief. I'll have the police here. Every lady whoever plays the hole will be looking up here going, what's that guy doing up there? He's bothering our game. What's he doing? Well, I'll tell you what, having that white stake right there on my property line, meaning that any golfer can drive their golf cart or walk down my property line with a camera in their pocket, photographing and video in my house as they play golf. What's the difference? you're going to use the golf course right up to the property line for play and for movement of golfers. You're telling every golfer you can walk up there. You can walk right up to those plants. Go ahead. And I have to sit there and watch this. But if I do the same thing, if I go out and I put a picnic table, like I said, or any kind of little patio, set up, little lounge area where I've got a stereo, a really good stereo, playing my kind of music, and people sitting there, first of all, I'm going to be constantly threatened by moron golfers on the other end of the scale, and all the ones in between. They get out here and think they can play this game. They take it for granted that, hey, this game is easy. Every game, I was a bowler, I picked up bowling, I picked up football, I'm great at video games, I've been great at video. Golf is nothing. Yeah, that's right, it is. That's why you see guys throw their clubs in the lake. That's why you see guys throw their clubs here. If I had a video on every swing here, lots of guys throw their clubs. And I have to put up with the language also. That's another thing. Being so close, you hear all the language. If they come up and they're a little salty with their language, like I get once in a while, if I have children here or my guests here and we're right on that corner partying, you're partying right up to my property line. And the other one, let me zoom in on the other one. See that one? That's on the other one. Now, there isn't a set of stakes all the way down. All the way down to the rest, but you had to bring them right up to my property line for this place. You know why? Because we're right on top of the cart path. The cart path is right there. That's about a 40-foot walk up to my plants. That walk is... It's a wonder it isn't trampled down like a trail. The number of golfers that have made that trip onto my yard. And they don't stop. They come right up to those stakes. If they see a ball and nobody's home, they'll walk right over the plants. They step over 2-foot high plants to get in my yard. West Valley golf. Ghetto golf. Redneck golf. Reckless endangerment golf, all right, assaulting golf, predatory golf, right? How about leveling the playing field up here and taking your golfers that aren't, and another thing, no management. When you see a young kid like 16 years old, never been on a course, you can spot him a mile away. He's walking out to his cart. He's twirling his clubs like a baton, right? Like this place is a joke. I'm going to get out here all day and hit home runs. I don't really know how to keep score. I'm not going to look at the scorecard. I'm out here to have fun with my buddies. Grip and rip. Grip and rip. Wake up. This is civil abuse. You're dragging down the game of golf. You've dragged it down. We don't have to have, we can wear denims out here now, where 15 years ago you couldn't. You can come out here in a t-shirt now, where 15 years ago you had to have a collared shirt to get on the course. The game has changed. It's changed. It's dying. The only way that you can keep it alive is to let Vikings and cowpokes and cattle drive cowboys walk in everybody's yard. All right? You have a jewel of a golf course out here. It's a jewel. It's in the location. You're 2 minutes from the freeway. Watson Road and I-10. Ka-ching, you understand? Location. You have a jewel of a golf course here and you're abusing the people who live on the course. you're going to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Nobody challenges us. If it isn't our idea, and I'm getting sick of the people on the board, my neighbors, every time I talk about this, you must go in rooms and do drills where you all stand there like in a circle and do circle drills where you go, if you don't like it, move. Because that's every response I have when I start talking about the loss of the emergency in and out of our parcel. That cart path I just showed you, there's trucks go over that cart path. 8,000-pound trucks go to this tee box for hole-in-one contests. They drive right from the street, right past the end of track day. So if an 8,000-pound truck, that means a rescue vehicle. Say a station wagon with emergency equipment in it. Something like this got a defibrillator. Something that's got oxygen. All that stuff can get into our neighborhood if both of our portals on the Sundance Parkway at Goodwill and the hospital get plugged up. If there's any emergency on I-10, a fog accident, a dust storm, a haboo accident, where 30 or 35 cars, and in the worst weather, all these ambulances hit the hospital. And the hospital's between the two portals to parcel 12. In the worst conditions, weather condition, it's storm, it's wind, it's raining, all this, and then you have something happen within our parcel 12 here. Someone falls, someone has a heart attack, someone has a stroke. They need immediate attention. They need gear. We've all seen the emergency fire response here, and I'm proud to say that Buckeye responds immediately. When my mother was living here, he just made a call, and within 5 minutes there was 5 people with all kinds of equipment. But if that happens and they can't get in through the portals, how are they going to get into parcel 12? You have a road that 8,000-pound trucks or 2 4-ton trucks will go over, piggyback or next one behind the other on a Sunday or a Saturday. Now, an emergency vehicle would be able to make it that far, but they can't go any farther because track day has been repurposed. It got repurposed 16 years ago, 17 years ago, from the community control documents. That plan that was generated back east in the Biltmore area or Scottsdale area was put together by civil engineers who covered their butt. It's called Cover Your Ass. Everything was by the book. Everything for this plan, for this community, was by the book when it left their office. The interpretation of that plan to suit the political interest and the business interests out here, when it arrived, had already been predetermined. The people here, the street engineers here, the thugs, the shadow engineers, the underground, already had it figured out what was going to survive in that plan and what was going to be slashed and burned. And which residents within the community were going to bear the burden of not only golf ball being assaulted by golf balls and the people that hit them and through trespass, but we're also going to take their lots and use their lots for water storage. That's not on the plan. If we build it per the plan, it's going to cost us a fortune. And our way will be much cheaper, it'll be much faster, and there'll be some side benefits from doing that. We'll be able to lock up a couple of pieces of land for some old friends of ours. We'll take that common area, that emergency in and out, the drain, the golf cart access, the pedestrian access, and we're going to close that into perpetuity forever and ever. Which they did. They did. That's the way it was for 8 years. Forever and ever, this is going to be closed. Nobody knows. We've been doing this since the pyramids. We're masters of geometry, illusion, quiet. We're secret. They got away with 8 years of dumping water onto my property. I can't get anybody. I've been into the town hall on the 2nd floor about 4 times in the last 5 years, and nobody will talk to me. Not one engineer. As soon as I give my name at the front desk on the engineering floor, the 2nd floor, when the lady comes out, and they probably got 40 engineers that have a desk on that floor, the lady comes out and says, nobody's here. Nobody will talk to me about the control document indicating that my patio should be the same, my finished floor elevation of my house should be the same as my neighbor's house. His house should be the same as his neighbor across Tract A. And nobody will talk to me. I've got document proof. I have my permit and I have the control document. The control document says I have to be this elevation with my neighbor and my other house. I'm not. I've also got the control document for the community that tells what my elevation is supposed to be. And when you do the extrapolation, the math, you apply the math to the formula, they drop my elevation 3 inches. Nobody will talk to me about it. That's why I'm kicked out. That's why I have to deal with a cross being burnt in my yard every day by the clubhouse or the pro shop. The pro shop is hoping for an incident between me and a golfer where they can throw me in jail for like about a year or 2 where I can't make the payments. I can't make the dues payments. One day after I missed the deadline for the dues payment, they will put a lien against my house. And all the lawyer, the paperwork, everything that has to be done that somebody makes money producing the lien paperwork, I have to pay for. If you think you're going to come into an HOA and own the lot and own the property, no. What you just did is you bought the rights. You bought the rights for the HOA to put paperwork against your property the day after you missed your first dues payment. The day after you missed the deadline for your first dues payment, the HOA has a right to start putting paper against your property. So to think that you're going to come in here and own a property, they own it. You're allowed to live here as long as you pay, and strut to their rhythm and their pace, and you dance to their music. They'll let you live here, unencumbered. Now, what you're looking at with this tee box right now is encroachment. To have your white stakes coming up to my property line where And your knowledge, and I know you know, because people complain to you all the time about broken windows and people walking in their yards. And you're doing nothing about it. And you call yourself a pro. You're hardly a pro. You're a thug. You're a golf thug. You're a turn-of-the-century millennial golf thug. You sit there with your chest puffed out and say, go ahead, do something about it. You bought a house on a golf course. Ha ha ha. That means I can show as much malice toward you as I want. And by putting that tee box there and not managing it and not putting the correct people on there, not filtering the golfers that go through that golf shop, you should have somebody on the first tee watching. If you see somebody start out from the men's tee on the gold and he whiffs 3 shots like he's never ever seen a golf ball on a set of clubs, and they want to play the gold and they start out playing a gold and he takes 12 shots in 20 minutes to get down to the first hole, that's when a marshal should go up and say, hey, you guys, either split up and one of you guys take him up to the other tees and keep moving, or y'all move up to the front tees. You will never see that happen here. Why? Because this is a low cost, low rent, redneck, chicken coop golf course. Alright? We don't care about our neighbors. We don't care about goodwill. Shows your ignorance right there to think that you would do to the people who encourage other people to come and visit and play golf. All you're doing is just creating human friction. And like I said, you're praying that some VIP comes up and walks in my yard so that when he calls up the police, they're not going to go out and interview him. They'll come right to me like they did with the Charlie Waters incident. Some VIP will come up here and we'll rub elbows. That's why I have the camera out here. And I'm going to get a lot more. I'm going to have cameras and sound recording equipment here because I'm constantly under assault by bad golf and dumb golfers. Like I said, this is Tuesday morning, the 28th of January, 2020. Just before dawn.